No matter what, people will commit to misunderstanding you. What's most important is your commitment to understanding yourself. How to get out of a slump when you're currently unmotivated. This episode could not be more timely because right now I am definitely in a slump. It has been a very wonky past few weeks. Life has just felt really off balance, and I just kind of feel out of my element overall, especially being online and being a creator, being in the digital sphere as a whole. A lot of people can, of course, assume that everything is fine and dandy, but that's why it's so important for me to get on the mic every single week and come on as I am. Of course, not every single week I'm going to be my normal, happy, bubbly, but it is definitely okay to hold space for the not so great times. It's really important too, so that we can all remember that everyone is going through something, even though you might not think they are. Everyone is going through their own version of shit, for lack of a better word. We're going to talk today about ways to help you feel less in a slump and hopefully pull you out of that unmotivated place. But what I want to say right up top is what this episode is not. This episode is not a, I'm so much better now and here's how I did it. No. This is sharing that currently I feel not so great mentally and emotionally. Here are some ways that I have helped myself feel a little better, incrementally better. I still feel off and wonky, even after doing some of the things that I'm about to tell you, but that's the reality of life. We, of course, have to get through the negative, and it's kind of a journey. It's a little uncomfortable, and it's going to take a little longer than, of course, we want it to. We, of course, want to shake that slumped feeling, to shake that off-center feeling within ourselves. We want it gone. We don't want it in the first place, but here we are. We are living in it. So this episode is not a, all right, I'm better now, and here's how you can be too. No, for me, that's really disingenuous because I know that I don't get over things immediately. I have to go through those motions, and it's going to take a little bit. And I can't tell you right now on this mic how long it's going to take you to get out of your slump. Everyone experiences things differently, of course. This episode is aimed to uplift and to maybe try things outside of your wheelhouse to feel a little bit better. But before we get into this episode, take some time right now to rate the show Misunderstood 5 stars on Apple and Spotify. I also want to say thank you guys for 200 ratings on Misunderstood. These milestones, even though they might sound insignificant to other people, that's okay. But this is something that I started a year ago, and I'm really, really proud of being consistent, and I'm proud of sharing my voice and sharing my heart and touching people with my words and how I express myself. I'm so emotional. I'm emotional all the time, but all I want to say is thank you, because I really feel so inspired to come on the mic every single week and share a little bit of myself each time. So if you are a listener of the podcast, which of course you are, if you are hearing this right now, please take some time to do the free and easy step of rating the show Misunderstood 5 stars on both Apple and Spotify. And if you feel so inclined, please also leave a written review on Apple. That helps other people learn a little bit more about the podcast. Thank you so much. All right, let's just jump into it. So like I said, life has felt a little wonky. I have just felt not myself. I have felt a little bit depressed, a little bit just unmotivated with life overall. And then I had to peel back the layers and really understand why. As I was thinking about the notes for this episode, I thought, let me also try to take my own advice and do a new spin on a topic that a lot of people experience and a lot of people deal with. These are definitely my ways of trying to uplift myself, to think about things differently. We are going to be demonstrating how to get out of a slump and how to feel less unmotivated unmotivated with the 5 L's. So I have formulated a list of 5 items that start with an L to help really illustrate what it looks like. For the most part, these things should be done in chronological order, but of course you can do whatever you want. I formulated it in this specific order for a reason. I thought this 5-step process would hopefully help people with getting from A to B with how they feel. With everything I ever say, apply what you want, leave what you don't, but let's begin. The first L is label the trigger. And this simply means you gotta dig deep and you gotta think about what exactly started this. Sometimes you don't even clock it, but that's why I say think about what exactly caused how you feel. What is the root cause of the emotion tied to where the slump started? Labeling how we feel is a very tangible way to not make it feel so distant and larger than life and bigger than us. It also helps us feel like it is not so impossible to tackle. Every single time that I have sat and either said it out loud or written down why I feel the way I do, what things led up to how I feel right now, everything is explained in a very straightforward way. Some of the things that have triggered me and that have made me feel wonky, not myself, off balance, and contributed to this slump and overall unmotivation I have been feeling. 2 episodes ago, I told you guys that I went to the hospital and I had an emergency surgery. Of course, I am still feeling a lot of the repercussions of that. Nothing's wrong in my body. I'm okay in a medical sense, but the effects of the surgery with my mental state, with my emotional state, with my energy levels in my body, things are trying to balance out again. So that is a very big component to why I know that I feel the way I do. And it is one of those things that, of course, time will make things feel better. But right now, I don't feel great. I feel sad and I feel like I can't do a lot of the things I had planned to do or that I want to do. I am feeling a lot of FOMO from all the Coachella festival content. I did want to go to Stagecoach, not particularly Coachella, but for most people, they know that Coachella is weekend 1, weekend 2, and then Stagecoach is that 3rd weekend after the 2nd weekend of Coachella. April is the start of festival season, and I did mention this in my spring bucket list. It is something that I had hopes of going to, but of course, when you have a surgery, you kind of gotta change up your plans and you have to adjust. Of course, the adjustment is something that was necessary. I had to just sit tight, can't travel, of course, but that doesn't mean I'm not feeling FOMO, and that doesn't mean I'm not feeling a little bit sad that I don't get to partake in something that I did want to do this year. So we're just labeling it. We are just labeling how we feel, which is very, very healthy. Another component that is making me feel just not great is that the weather here in New York is still pretty cold, which is so annoying. I woke up today with the temperature being 36 degrees. That is insane. We are in April. This should not be happening. So that is definitely just making me unmotivated to go outside. It's making me feel like I want to curl up into a ball and not get fresh air. The cold weather is not helping the situation. And actually back to the recent surgery that I had at the end of March, the ripple effect of that is not just that I can't travel and I can't do a lot of the bigger things in the near future. It slightly impacts my knee recovery. My physical therapist said that we do have to dial back what we do for at least 2 weeks because, of course, we have to let my stomach and the scars heal, which absolutely makes sense. There's no other way around it. But because of that, I can't lift weights for this period of time, which is something that helps me feel stronger. Was getting better and better with lifting weights in relation to strengthening my knee, and I was seeing a lot of progress, and I was actually ahead of the game with the progress, and I was really happy about that. And then this random out of the blue life event happens that really stopped everything in its tracks. Mentally, it makes me feel sad and unmotivated because I can't do some of the things that I used to do before I, of course, had the unexpected surgery. So that is definitely a trigger that I had to label head on and acknowledge. And because I can't work out in the ways that I had before that surgery, a lot of things have actually been impacted. Now that I'm thinking about it, a lot of things have been impacted. My sleep, my eating patterns, and my overall energy as a whole has taken a hit. I literally ate a tub of Ben and Jerry's ice cream on Saturday for dinner. I don't feel bad about it. I wanted it. But that is very out of character for me. That's really when I realized, oh, I am low-key depressed right now. I feel like I'm in a slump and I feel like I just don't feel overall great. And again, that's for me. I don't want anyone to think that you can't eat a tub of ice cream. You can do whatever you want. Of course, we know this. But for me, I have been exhibiting a lot of out of character traits ever since the surgery, which makes sense because something happened in my body that was abnormal and we're just trying to get back on track. That process of getting back on track is tough. It's uncomfortable and it's hard. And I'm just trying to level with all the emotions that I'm being inundated with while we get through it. The last trigger that I wanted to mention here is social media as a whole. I actually just watched a video about how someone said, when you are not in a good place, you disappear. And that could not be more true for me. I kind of go silent and I go into a hole and I don't want to come out. And that is definitely what has been happening, especially on my short form content platforms like TikTok specifically. I'm talking about TikTok. I don't even like Instagram. If I didn't need it for work, I wouldn't have it. I digress. But on TikTok, I usually just love shooting the shit and posting random videos, talking videos just for fun. Yes, I do it for work too, but I haven't been doing that because I have just not been feeling so hot. So I just have kind of ghosted the platform for a bit. And then also just scrolling does not make me feel good. It never has. I do struggle with a lot of the comparison, especially when I'm not in a good place. Scrolling is going to heighten the feeling of discomfort within myself. So I'm just not going to do that. It stirs something up in me. So I'm labeling the trigger. I am just trying to stay away from it. Whatever triggers you have, I hope that through me sharing mine, you are also formulating yours in your head. You're writing it down, but it is really important to acknowledge what is bothering us because that's where it starts. Remember, it starts and ends with us, like I've said in past episodes. So call it out within yourself. What exactly is triggering you? The second L is a long walk. The power of walking is real. You've probably heard this already, but walking in so many aspects is really, really healthy for the mind, body, and soul. And I love long walks. I have taken now 3 really long walks post-surgery, and I have felt seriously so much better. Makes me emotional because 1, these walks were over an hour long. And 2, I am just exploring the city. And I'm so thankful that I live in New York City, truly. I mean, I say that. I think I say that every other episode. I say this on my YouTube vlogs. I say this everywhere because I really am deeply, deeply thankful because this has always been my dream city. But I digress. Anywhere you are, it doesn't even matter where you are. Long walks are so, so good to stimulate your mind, to help blood flow, to help you literally feel better. It also helps shake up the stuck energy and anxiety that is in your body. Every single time that I take a long walk, I come back smiling and I just feel lighter, I feel bouncier, I feel better. And it is the easiest form of exercise. We all walk. A lot of people don't like walking long distances, but I do encourage you to try to adopt it. I'm not saying you have to walk for an hour every single day, but taking a long walk semi-frequently will really, really, really help your mood. I can actually promise you that. When you are on these long walks, tap into your 5 senses. What do you see? What do you hear? What do you smell? Maybe you get something to eat. So what do you taste? If you touch things on your long walk, what do you touch? Really getting in tune with your body and your mind. It's a true mind-body connection while you are outside moving your body. This just makes me want to take a long walk today. I actually took a long walk yesterday because I really am trying to make that more of a habit. I have said this a lot, actually, that walking has been one of the most beneficial practices I've adopted in my life. It's helped me lose weight. Not that I'm trying to actively lose weight, but it's helped me lose weight. It's helped me just feel more clarity in my life. It's helped me get rid of brain fog. It's helped me feel less stuck physically. When you think about a slump, you feel literally stuck and you feel inhibited. You don't feel like you can actually act on the things that you want to do, which is why being in a slump and being unmotivated are often married together. I cannot speak enough good about walking. I think everybody should do long walks. Not trying to make this the longest story ever. Like I said, I took a long walk yesterday, which turned into an ordeal. Not a bad ordeal. The reason why it's not bad is because it has a happy ending. A brand sent me a package, saw that they delivered it to the wrong address. Then it led me into problem solver mode. And this is how I always am. If something happens, I problem solve it. I was on this walk. I looked at my app and I realized that they sent it to the wrong place. So I went to USPS, told them what happened. They looked up in their internal system where the package actually delivered, which was literally all the way in the financial district, which was very far away from me. So I went down there, I went to the address, talked to the front desk, told them the situation. They said that they gave the package back to the USPS driver. Then I sat around the building waiting for a USPS truck to arrive, because usually USPS trucks are stationed around the areas they service. So in my brain, I used my deductive reasoning and thought, well, if I see a USPS truck, that truck might have my package. Call me a little delusional, but I think it's just me being a smart cookie. So I waited for about an hour. And sure enough, the USPS guy was there. I talked to him. I had my ID. I wasn't a random person. He said, wait, I actually grabbed that package and I brought it back to the station. And thankfully, the station was literally a 10-minute walk. So he called the supervisor at the USPS station and told him that I was coming to pick up my package. So I walked that 10 minutes over to the USPS station, showed my ID, got my package. It was kind of crazy, but it gave me such a thrill. And I also realized that kind of effectively got me out of a slump for that period of time, because I realized that I could problem solve very well and I don't give up, and I got my package and I'm really happy about that. Why that's tied into the long walk is because I set out to do a long walk, which I ended up doing. And then I also problem solved, which helped me remember that I can motivate myself. I clearly motivated myself enough to get my package, and I did. All right. The third L is little joys. Little joys are very important. We tend to focus on the big joys, the long trips, the big milestones, which are great, but those don't happen every single day. What are we going to do to get us through the day to day? This could be a material or immaterial small item that you do to put a little pep in your step, to look forward to just feel happier and feel lighter. That is the point of a little joy. Essentially, you are giving yourself a little treat, and treats are good for morale, and they do help you get out of a slumped feeling. So yesterday I made a matcha, which yes, I make matchas frequently, but I took a new spin on my matcha, which I wanted to share with you guys. I did end up getting my star ice cube maker. It's pink, it's shaped like a star, and then there are, I think, 10 mini stars on the ice maker. It's so cute. Made my matcha, my strawberry shortcake matcha, and I put my star ice cubes in it. And then I took it a step further and put some edible glitter in my matcha. I got the edible glitter a year ago at this point because I was doing another project. It was such a little joy. It looked so cute and it was fun to sip on, and I loved it. Little joy. It is that simple. Edible glitter, star ice cubes, put a smile on my face instantly. And it just helped me feel a little bit better. And then I also watched a YouTube video alongside that. The only reason why I'm saying that is because the YouTube video helped me feel a little less sad, because I got to be in another world of someone else, to kind of disassociate a little bit. That is the beauty of YouTube. And why I like YouTube far more than the short form content is because it feels so much more intentional. So I highly recommend making a fun new drink, making a fun new snack, watching something new, but something that makes you feel happy and inspired, not something that will drain you and make you feel that comparative feeling. A brand sent me this gold hair clip. If you're on video, you can see it, but it is so cute. I wore it yesterday and I got a few compliments. I just love a big statement piece. I have mentioned this before. Even if you have a very simple outfit, just adding a statement piece really just elevates it. But this is such a little joy. It makes me feel cute because it is so cute. Another little joy example to share with you guys is putting on a little bit of makeup. Yesterday, I really was going through it and I just didn't feel amazing, but I thought, you know what? Let me just put on a little bit of blush, a little bit of concealer, a little bit of mascara. Did not do a full beat at all, but I did enough to make me feel a little bit put together. I don't know, something about putting on makeup does make me feel a little more put together, especially because I don't put on makeup every single day. When I put it on, I do just feel a tad more put together and it does make me feel overall better, and it is a little joy. And I do like to listen to music while I put on my makeup because it really is such a mood boost. The fourth L is lean into the new. So the objective of this one is to switch up your routine so that you don't feel like things are so predictable. I fully believe that the predictability of life can inevitably lead you into a slump because you don't find any enjoyment or variation in your day. Therefore, you can feel unmotivated to continue doing all the same things. Some examples of leaning into the new and switching up your routine is working outside instead of inside if you do have the flexibility of working from home, but also if you do work from the office, take your lunch outside instead of sitting inside and working through your lunch. You can do an activity after work. I find that this is such a great way to switch up my routine and make it so that I'm not just living for the weekends, because of course there are 7 days in a week and we don't have to just rely on the weekends for socialization and doing something new and different. Recently, I went to a book club bar with my friend on a Tuesday. Another one is wearing an item that you haven't worn in a long time. I actually also did this yesterday. I pulled out my loafers. I have not worn my loafers in almost a year. I have no idea why. There really isn't a reason for it besides the fact I pulled out my loafers and I put together an outfit. My outfit was, in my opinion, so cute. I wore a black shirt and then I wore a sweater on top of that. I wore black jeans and my loafers with socks and a leather jacket on top of that because it was a little cold yesterday, but I loved it. I also got a few compliments on my whole outfit, which always makes me feel a little better and puts me in a better mood. And on the note of clothes, if you do feel like you are not feeling variety with your closet, that can, of course, in a lot of ways make you feel a little slumped. So I do recommend trying to thrift items or try renting clothes. I love Nuuly. I've talked about that before, but it's a great way to be sustainable and refreshen your closet for whatever you want to do. And remember, there doesn't have to be a specific reason to do this. You can just do it because you want to. I'm wearing this pink knit sweater that I did get kindly gifted, which I love it. It's so cute. It makes me feel warm and cozy, especially on a day like this where it is actually quite cold outside in New York. At least I can be bright and colorful indoors and stay warm. Switching up what you wear will definitely help with not feeling so slumped. Another thing you can do is organize your space in a different way, whether it be switching up the orientation of your room as a whole, maybe changing the way your bed is faced in your room, or cleaning out your entire makeup vanity and rearranging things, throwing things away that are old and you don't want anymore. Just switching up the feng shui overall can also shift the energy in the room and it will change your perspective when you're in your room. Another one is read a stimulating book. So I talk about all my books on YouTube, which I've mentioned, but I am currently reading a book that I am very mentally stimulated by. Honestly, it's on track to being a 5-star. If you listened to last week's episode, I have not read a 5-star since January. So I have just been craving a book that will really make me think and will really help me anchor myself into the story and feel very captivated by it. I'm learning new things. I'm learning new words. Kind of don't want to put it down. Every single free moment I've had in the last few days, I have been reading this book. And of course, I have it right next to me. It is titled The Goldfinch by Donna Tartt. I have read one of her books before, The Secret History. Her writing style was something that I was so in love with. I was obsessed with how she wrote. She just uses such rich vocabulary. She paints a picture so vividly. You are there. You are literally there with the characters. And I am really, really enjoying this book. Not that I was in a reading slump, but I feel like I am now more inspired to find books like this because I know they clearly exist. So if you are a reader, you already know the power of books and you already know how books can really help you get out of a negative mindset. But even if you aren't a reader, this is my petition once again to try it out. I really will always advocate for reading. And then I also wanted to share two things I did yesterday that did help me feel a lot better. Number one, I went to a craft hour at my local library. Love this library. I go there literally every single week. They have library programming. So I have gone and looked at the calendar and seen what kinds of things that I want to do. They are showing movies once a week and they also do a craft hour. So the craft hour is knitting and crocheting. And of course, people can bring whatever they want. Someone was scrapbooking yesterday, but I went by myself and I really, really enjoyed it. There were 8 of us there. Half of the group was knitting, half of the group was crocheting. I do have my crochet kit for people who watch me on YouTube. You already know this, but I have been wanting to get back into crocheting. It's such a great hands-on activity. It helps me stay really focused on it. And then also it's the nostalgia of it because my grandmother taught me how to crochet when I was 9 and then I fell off of it and now we're getting back into it. It's been a really cool journey. And someone yesterday sat with me and taught me how to restart because, like I said, I'm kind of starting from scratch again. I haven't done it in a long time, but he sat with me for 20 minutes and taught me how to crochet. And now I'm hooked. I will be going back to the craft hour. It just makes me happy that I'm putting myself out there. And even though I feel a little bit stuck, a little bit wonky right now, life feels a little weird and random, I am actively getting out there and doing things that will enrich me, that will help me feel uplifted and just fun, different activities overall. And then after that, I went to trivia by myself. Here's the thing with trivia, it is usually with a group of people. That's usually how people go to trivia. I just thought, you know what? I still really want to get out of my comfort zone. I still really want to try to get out of this funk that I'm in. So I went to a bar that I have been to a ton, which I would say if you're in this exact predicament, go to a bar or space that you've been to a lot. So you're already familiar. So even though you're a little nervous or feel out of your element by being somewhere on your own, at least you are anchored in the fact that you know the space and you know the staff, and that will help you feel a little less scared of this new activity. So I went and I stayed for about an hour and a half and I sat at the bar, and funny enough, another guy was by himself and we struck up conversation and we literally talked the entire time. And he actually invited me to drinks today, but I can't go because I have another event. But things like that really help you remember that everything's going to be okay. Truly, everything's going to be okay. You can turn the ship around whenever you want. Your mindset will really help you get out of a negative place. And the fifth and final L is loudly state your why. So this one is about being really open and honest and unapologetic about what you want to achieve in your life. And we're not talking full life goals. You can go there if you want, but we're talking, what do you want this week? What do you want this month? Keeping it small and manageable is probably the way to go. But again, I'm not here to limit you, but this is what I want you to ask yourself. What would motivation help you achieve in the near future? So sit with that question. Really think about it. That is your why. Whatever the answer to that question is your why. That is why you are doing what you're doing. That is why you're trying to pull yourself out of a negative state to achieve what you want. So like I said, this can be a goal for today, this week, this month, this year, whatever. My why for the next month is to really heal bodily, because I've kind of been kicked around metaphorically for the past few months with a few internal injuries. So I just really want to get better so that I can start training. My official training block for the New York City Marathon will start in July, which is very exciting. So yes, I do have a buffer. I do have time. If I am loudly stating my why right now, I want to get out of this negative state and I want my motivation back so that I can get really, really excited about this journey I'm about to go on. And I know I'm downplaying it because we're still many months away from the start of the real journey, but it's a very big deal to run a marathon. And I'm very, very proud of myself that I even signed up. I'm proud that I did all the work in 2025 to even qualify for this. So no matter what, it's happening. And I'm very, very excited. So that is my why. And I'm very, very looking forward to not only doing it, but taking everyone along with me. We are all going to go on this journey together this year. And then the last item I wanted to put in your why is creating more than you consume. I think, once again, in our day and age, we are very digitally focused. I for sure am. I literally work in social media. We all definitely consume a lot more than we create. I encourage you to actively try to create more than you consume, because when you're creating more than you consume, you are definitely actively trying to get yourself out of a unmotivated state and out of a funk. This doesn't even only apply to people who are posting on social media. This can be literally anyone. Think of baking something or making something from scratch instead of taking in what other people are doing. Having that independence, having that self-expression, that goes so far. And you can literally translate that into any industry, any idea. All right, so let's just run back our 5 L's all in a row. Label the trigger, long walks, little joy, lean into the new, and loudly state your why. I thought this was a really fun way to illustrate how you can get yourself out of a slump and feel a little bit better. And like I said at the beginning of this episode, it's not about doing all these things and magically thinking that everything's going to be okay. That's not realistic. And you guys know by now, we keep it real over here. We are simply just finding everyday ways that we can work on ourselves. Remember, this is Misunderstood, and we are committed to working on ourselves over here. That is literally the pillar of this podcast. That is why this podcast exists. It is so important for us to understand ourselves and to figure out ways that we can improve our life, make it the happiest, best, and most uplifting place we can. And with that, thank you so much for listening to another episode of Misunderstood. Remember to rate the show 5 stars on Apple and Spotify and follow it wherever you are listening. Join our Geneva group chat. It is always linked in the description of every single podcast episode. Hang out with me on my other socials, TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, and Pinterest at NK Madani. And I will talk to you guys in the next one.